you reach out. And for me, like one of the best things about voiceover, when I started, I was 450 pounds.
Wow.
And so I was like, I didn't want anyone to see, because I was praised for having a sexy voice, but I was like, the package did not fit for me. And so that's why I liked it so much. And that actually like continued, like as I got pregnant 3 times, I'd be there I was in latent labor with my son for 2 weeks. And I'm sitting there, huge at the house, and I'm doing a lingerie spot, and they're like, okay, do it now like a leather-clad dominatrix. I'm like, no! Yeah. So, but I like that part of it. I like that you can just, you can hide, which is kind of cool.
That also is another reason why 700 people hug each other, because you never see anybody.
Right. Like we work in these booths and or our closets, and we don't go outside, and it's like,
and
wow, you understand me.
The sun.
The sun.
And the person that you just recorded that radio spot with lives in another city, and you're doing a scene together, and you'll never get a chance to meet.
So
cool.
Cool.
There's a Cartoon Network promo that someone from Atlanta did with Luke Skywalker, I think. What's that?
Mark Hamill?
Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
What's his face?
What's his name?
Yeah.
And you can say I worked with him, but you never really actually knew if he hit you with his car. But it's
Still, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
IMDb that sucker. Hell yeah.
That's right. Yeah. It's a great field, I think, because you can just live anywhere. I can live anywhere. I mean, this is the office here,
Right.
Yeah.
and it doesn't matter where I'm from anymore.
But that's so recent.
Yes.
And we had to fight for that. Like,
That's right.
I think everyone on the stage fought for that. You kids don't even know. No, when seriously, when I started, it was all about New York, LA still, and I was like, well, that's not going to happen. I don't have that much money, so I'm going to just try to make it happen here. And we're so lucky. And for you guys, I'll say this one thing: find out and be able to pitch your tax cuts. For the love of God, when you're doing your projects with other people and you get financing, make sure you can talk about what Georgia gives as far as tax incentive for recording and things like that. Because honest to God, that's how you get like some of these big things to come here and be like, hey, we've got talent here. You can use our studio. Yeah, take all that kind of stuff, and like, dude knows. Yeah. That's like a big help. Yeah.
It has helped. Yeah, I know that film production and TV production has really benefited, of course, in the state, and I think everyone here eventually, or at one time or other, went to the Capitol to sort of push for it.
Yeah.
And there's a great, I guess, I lived in LA for a little while, and I was trying to be an actor at the time, and I'd left Georgia. This was late '80s, and we had sort of false starts, where we would have, in the heat of the night, where the southern accent was just mauled, speaking of mauled.
Wow, that was a throwback. Like, we're not talking about my scars only once.
And a big sign on Sunset Boulevard said, "Film in Georgia." Had a big old peach there. I thought, my timing is just awful. So I came back home, and we, the attempts were still there, and we finally kind of locked that in. And not every state can get that tax incentive going for them, but it's done enormous things for the film and TV here. It hasn't really changed too much with voiceover. I think it hasn't hurt, I know, but I haven't been able to see that jump. The only other jump I've seen in voiceover is the voiceover world being digital, and I've been opened up to other markets, and our talent has been too.
I'll tell you about for the VO part. The thing that I'm finding out, because like right now, we're pitching stuff, you've got to get a production house that like knows and likes voiceover to be able to drag those people in, kicking and screaming, saying, look, just sit here and listen to the talent we have here. And that's like, that hasn't happened yet. But again, like I know some production people that are trying desperately to pitch like 5 things to Netflix, but it only takes one. If we can just get one, and that voiceover-driven production company gets it, then that will be like, hey, Jeffrey, guess what? Get the whole roster together. Woohoo! So that it's that hard part of, they still are using production companies from LA, and they're still like, the LA people are like, we're not going to Georgia. And I'm like, you will.
You will, yeah.
You will.
Well, sorry, go ahead.
I'm going to say, it is so true about the distance, though. I mean, we really can work anywhere. I mean, when I started doing this, I'm joking about it, but it literally was 30 years ago. And you would go to an agent's and you would read into a crappy cassette machine with the 5 other people in Atlanta that had deep voices, you know, and the odds were good because one of the 6 of us is gonna do this. But there were only 40 spots that were gonna be produced. And now you can work anywhere. My distance record is the agency, the producer the client was in New Zealand, the producer was in London, and I was in my living room in Alpharetta, Georgia.
I
And
love
we're
that.
So
all
great.
up together on
So
ISDN,
awesome.
and it was like we were in the same room. And so the distance and the amount of places you can work is just infinite.
Yeah.
So it's been amazing.
That's fun. It
Yeah.
really is, and it opens up your world. You know, it's as
Yeah.
if you've traveled there and worked there.
Yeah,
You know, the part of I guess filmmaking where you have the ADR especially is a very fun part of voiceover, and there's an art to it. You know, ADR is really kind of growing here in Atlanta, but for a long time it was definitely all post was done in LA, even
Yeah.
if it was filmed here, and that's evolving. I'm sure for any other city or state too that has the amount of work we have. ADR is also moving here a little bit, and there's little ADR groups popping up. It's very fun, you know, because I was on a panel in New York with this woman that's cast about 200 films for just the ADR part. She's been in them as well, and it's a big room like this, and you just kind of circle around the mic and do your thing. But the part about it that's keeps it real and grounded is that you actually have to be saying something. You can't just be mouthing mumbly words.
Can't say peace.
Well, there is mumbling. There are, what is it called? Where there's actual mumbling.
There's
with-
Walla.
Walla, exactly.
Walla, yeah, it's actually add Walla,
Yeah.
add a Walla.
I know, it sounds so, Walla.
Yeah. But I'm glad to know that work is coming to here, to another market outside
Right.
LA. I don't mean anything against LA, of course, but I'm pro Atlanta and I'm pro VO actors being able to work wherever they are, and then I hate when you're sort of locked out of one. Animation is another one too. We have Cartoon Network and Boomerang in our backyard, and we book a lot of the promo work for it, but a lot of the animation is still sort of centered in LA, and I'm trying to break that mold as well. We broke it with video game, where it's been it's a little more broke. Telltale, I think, is closed now, but they were flying our talent out to the Bay Area, or I'm not sure if that was Telltale. It was the Walking Dead game. Flew them out, put them up in a hotel, fed them, and had them. And it was kind of weird.
Then ate them.
We never saw them again. So weird.
They did they went union because I guess whoever they were non-union to start off with, and whoever they got big time to be on the Walking Dead game character that they were casting, he was union, and they had to take their whole production union. It meant everyone either had to be eaten, but they had to follow the story, and they really liked one of our ladies from Atlanta that was non-union. So I just assumed they were going to kill her off, but they didn't. They paid for her union initiation fee.
Really?
That's awesome.
It's like $1,500.
Yeah,
or
it's
something.
cheap.
Then they killed her. But she's got her card now.
Well, and we have High Res and Wabi Sabi now, so
Yeah.
and those are good companies that are about animation too. Anime. Oh my lord! So my husband's with Funimation, and it took my husband. He's been there for he's been voicing like 25 years, and last year we finally became the first studio ever that's not Funimation to let us record for Funimation, and that was for Fairy Tale Dragon Cry. And so getting that success, again, we're having a phone call session with you soon because,
great.
being able to move anime here because
wanna
that's
call me
huge.
now?
I was going to say, you're right here. It's like,
Watch how this
how
happens.
conveniently, because it's so hard to get
goes
him.
down.
He's very busy and important. But no, I mean, that's again like making your own opportunities. That's the kind of stuff that I like to pull so that I'm able to go to agents and say, here, I bought this, can you fix it? I don't want to have to deal with that because I want to be a voice person, maybe, kind of there for any other stuff, but that's like, for me, and knowing who Jeffrey is and having a relationship with him, that's something like when Funimation finally cracks and like lets us use the people that we're teaching, that's who I'm going to go to because it's so good because he's not as invested in trying to please people and to get the job. That's why you want an agent for things like this because you'll give in, because you're like, well, it's work. I want a job. I don't want to, I'll get a toy that I can go and see out at, Hot Topic. No, it's he will make sure you get paid fair.
Well, I think, like with what Widdi produces, it's union, and you're pretty assured that you'll get paid, and I'm sort of sometimes brought in as a silent partner instead of the middleman, but if you fear that the buyer maybe doesn't want to work with an agent because they fear it means more money, or sometimes it does, it just mostly means better protections for you in the release. Like
Usage,
they can't use it. I had one that came through, paid to play, and the talent got the job, but she wasn't happy with the rate. We tried to do the rate, but the rate had already been locked in, and so they were kind of rigid about that. But we did change the usage of it. It was kind of a Siri voice, and that's not cheap so much, but this was just for one sort of maker of certain televisions and headphones. It's not going to be, what Siri ended up being. But we limited them in the release and the contract so that they couldn't you wouldn't hear this voice like poor Susan Bennett. I don't mean poor Susan Bennett, but the voice of Siri, she was kind of the first, and there wasn't that protection. You couldn't think that way, and we've got to be very careful about AI right now to understand what it can do for us and against us, the voice actors. So it's hard to know where it's going to go, how far they will take that and make it more personalized. But that was what happened with Siri in the beginning, and I'm here as the agent to behind the scenes make sure that the talent has protections, not from demonic buyers. Just the buyers might not realize the scope of how their releases are releasing talent's rights. So it's a partnership. Do we have any? We are running out of time. Are we about to?
We talked to him.
Okay, can we take a couple of questions? Okay, yeah.
A good while ago, probably 10 years ago, I took this class. It was like for either free or $35 for 2 nights, learn how to do voiceover. So the first night, they tell you a little bit about it, and you read some stuff out, and then at the end of the show, at the end of the class, they give you like a paragraph, and you've studied it, so it's very clear and everything they recorded. And the next night, they come back and they mix that with music in the background, so it sounds very professional. So of course, then there's the sales pitch.
Such a voice.
Several $1,000s they can do like a reel. What I'm asking, what I'm wondering is that worth anything to have a reel with your voice on it, with a disc with your?
Yeah, I think a reel is like a business card. It's your resume. It's your audio resume. But it's not the first step. It shouldn't be done anywhere near the beginning of the career. So you kind of find out from many sources what your strong suit is, what you sound like when people aren't looking at you, what your branded sound is, if you're friendly, if you're gruff, or whatever it might be. And
you should never pay several $1,000s.
No.
No, I mean they're $3,000 or $4,000, sometimes $7,000. That's the range. But
What?
Out in
Yeah.
LA,
Yeah.
especially the character
Yeah,
stuff.
for-
We know people that'll do.
No, we really do.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
can't tell the difference when I receive one, and I also can't tell if it's something you actually booked and got audio of, or if it's something that was called material for your demo. I'm automatically thinking when I get a demo that you've had the experience and this was just something you threw together for material. The reason I need to know if it's real or not is because if you do something for Piedmont Healthcare, I need to know if that's an actual spot you did book, because Kaiser Permanente is wanting you to do it too, and you can't have them both on. So I don't demos, even if it's just a sample of you acting at home into your mic. That's all I would need as an agent to hear it, and I would imagine the producer would at least be able to hear through with the trained ear to the talent first, and then demo later. Demo when it's ready, but not before.
The thing that's really difficult about demos too is that even if you're using somebody that's really good, who can really direct you and really get the best out of you, your demo needs to contain things that you can reproduce on demand. And there's a lot of people, we all know coaches who are amazing, and that's great. And they got that read out of you once, and you'll never do it again. But if it's on your demo, and then people start calling you for it, and you walk in and you can't do it, you got to make sure that what's on your demo is things that you can do all the time. And you want to range, but you still want your core voice. You want it to be representative that way. But like Jeffrey's saying, that's not the first thing. You really want to establish what you can do and be good at what you're going to put on your demo before you put that down.
Get that training before you spend a ton. And I'll tell you the questions I always tell people to ask is because we produce demos too. But I always say, when you find somebody you like, call and ask if you can maybe get a couple of their people that they've done demos for. If they say no, red flag. But then if they let you, talk to these people who now have demos from this company and ask, how was the experience? And are you booking off of that demo? Because sometimes people get so excited because they have an MP3 with their voice on it that it doesn't go further than that. It's like, oh yeah, that's right, I was supposed to make money off of this thing. So again, it's, how was the experience? Are you happy with what you got? And are you booking? Those are for demo production, those are the things you really want to.
However, in voiceover, I've had people on my roster that haven't booked in 7 years, and I don't give up on them because I know it's hard to book.
Yeah.
So it can mean also that just voiceover is hard to book, not only when it was first started, but now that we have every other house on your block having someone in their closet. It's,
Everyone's got this image now of people sitting in their closet.
Or little mole holes. Yeah.
Any more questions? Real quick questions?
What is the first step then?
Taking an auditor class and see what clicks with you about voiceover. Even if you're a non-camera actor or not any actor at all, it is acting and it is storytelling. So you would hear in a basic class that goes through all the different types of voiceover delivery, like friendly, conversational, PSA, which is that urgent read, we need blood today. And so you've got to understand there's about 7 different sort of specific styles at least. And you may not like it, but you might be challenged by one or all of them. So you take a series of classes, and then you would individually coach beyond that as you grow. And then you start to go to workshops, or you start to volunteer your voice for a company to try to be the voice of for a while. Then you can introduce yourself to agencies and submit according to their guidelines, or meet producers or casting directors at functions, or online now is the way to really find an agent. There's weekly workouts. So you'll have an agent 1 week that's the director, and you'll hear the feedback from each new person that hears you. You'll start to hear what makes your voice a trait definable. So it might be like you hear over and over again, you sound like you're in your 30s and you're troubled, or whatever it might be. You always you sound shaky. So you'll start to hear trending comments about yourself, or things that you do really well, or things that you need to work on. So that can be done by those Facebook groups, the voiceover Facebook groups.
Well, and if you go to a reputable agency's website, and they just happen to have their list of really great teachers that they endorse,
Resources, yeah.
that's a really good place to
And
start.
that's
So,
hugely important,
it's
because
yeah.
there are a
Yeah.
lot of
If it's on
awful
an
teachers.
agency's
Totally,
website,
yeah.
it's probably pretty.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's
They're
been
decent.
vetted anyway.
They're decent.
Yeah.
How about with cartoons? How would you get into that?
Become a commercial person first so that you can afford to do cartoons. Yeah, they don't.
That too, yeah.
They don't pay.
There's classes that are just specifically workshops that are done by people that are actually doing animation now, or coaches that are specifically designed or sort of focused on animation. Animation is it's a bigger voice, it's a bigger kind of delivery persona, and they're fascinating. Are you her agent?
Yeah.
Okay.
that counts. Well, too, honestly, when you have to think about, when you say cartoons or animation, there's so many more things that are like a CIFA. There's a CIFA that happens here, and that's the college kids that are just starting to do all their programs and all their different things. UGA has a thing where they're teaching people how to do programming. Kennesaw State is doing a huge thing with computer programming games. So there's a lot of ways to get into, or just to meet people who are just starting out just like you. Terminus is another conference in Atlanta in June. Same thing, beginning filmmakers, all sorts of fun stuff.
Yeah.
But those type of things too. Kickstarter is another one of my favorite places to send people who are just getting out, because you can actually volunteer to start doing a couple things, and you can grow along with the company. And trade shows. Go to trade shows, toy trade shows. They all need voiceover for their toys. There's a lot of different ways that you can just kind of go into little,
that's a great
ways.
You definitely have to be creative when you get into voiceover, because I think a lot of people say, oh, well, record my demo, out of the gate.
We'll see what
I'll send it to Jeffrey, and Jeffrey's going to send me all this work because even though he's got 400 talents,
You're the
I'm
favorite.
that guy,
That's
right?
right.
And the thing about it is, if you really want to earn a living off of it, right, then yeah, sure, okay, you depend on your agent, but then you also have to depend on yourself. I heard a very successful talent once say that, as much money as they make, only 5% of it comes from their agent, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And then the
reality.
rest of it comes
Hustle,
from
hustle.
their hustle, right? And they conduct their voiceover business like a business. So every day, you know, you get up and you go to work promoting your voiceover business, whether it's through online marketing, whether it's through online casting, whether it's through trade shows or networking and stuff like that. Like, this is your business, and then it's a business around your talent.
Yeah, and you're your own agent, and that's,
Yeah.
by coming to events like this, you put yourself in another networking area, and this is part of the bag. It gets you all the work. The agencies are less and less, I think, part of the big
Oh,
picture.
no, we'll never forget you.
I'll just exit this way.
No,
Did you have
no.
a real quick question?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm an aspiring filmmaker and animator, and I would like to know, like, in terms of casting, voice casting, like say, when I'm working on a live action film, it might have involves like some beats, like how I go about finding the right person with a voice that to do like the vocal sounds.
Well, however you reach out to cast your film, that person might also be able to cast voices. You can just search voiceover agencies. You can go to the union and search affiliated talent agencies there. There are pay-to-play sites online where you set your audition out, and actors will send you the audition back according to the script sample you put out. There's tons of ways. You can go to schools, or you can go to coaches and say, hey, any of your students make this kind of sound.
Or I mean, you
They
can
go
you
like this.
I mean, you can spend time just searching online. I mean, you can go to Jeffrey's website, for instance, to different agency websites, or you're looking for a type of voice. So just Google that type of voice. You'll be surprised. A lot of different, people describe their voices on their websites, and those things will pop up in your search engines. Or you can go to the online casting. You can go to I won't endorse
Don't
any
do
of
that.
them.
Don't do that.
No, you're not gonna catch. I'm on camera.
I was gonna
no
say,
way
really?
you're gonna. Or you can just find one of our websites. We do it all.
Except singing and dancing.
No singing and dancing.
Just
Absolutely.
not well.
Did that answer your question, or?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Yes.
I have a question. Are you on opencoaches.com?
Am I on who what?
Opencoaches.com.
Is that like,
It's a website for like, I've seen you before because you was at SCAD.
Yeah.
For the
Oh,
I was
that's
going to bring
always
Scam when she was
Always
talking about
fun.
it. That's
Yeah,
a fantastic school.
They brought me to Open Coaches. That's what the
Oh,
lady
cool.
previously on there, she was talking about it, and I was wondering, are you on there? Do you have your own website?
I don't think we're on that. No, we do have our own website. My husband and I own the Neighborhood Studio Atlanta. That's the name of our company. It's superhero driven, which is, we love that because we're right across from where Marvel films all their stuff. So like it's really cool because like the cranes up there, you can see like when the green suits start flying around on the cranes and stuff. So that's why we were like, let's do superhero stuff. So yeah, no, it's neighborhoodstudioatlanta.com. Yeah, no kidding, it's pretty cool. But no, we're not on. I mean, we're listed on other sites and stuff. We're on Jeffrey's site because he's awesome. But yeah, I mean, we don't have like a huge online presence, but you don't really have to. Because honestly, once you get known, like his website could go off tomorrow, and still everybody knows who Jeffrey is. He's gonna be fine. So yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen.
It's true. I'm just saying, yes, no doubt.
Ask something about the video game. How does that work for you to be voice actor on video games? Is it still the same avenue as
Voice
more
talent?
Yeah.
I would say no. My husband and I are vastly different career paths, ways we went about it. I think we actually just talked about this last night. We were laying there, and I was like, for me, voice talent, I think, is where you're more comfortable being versions of you. And voice actors kind of seem like they kind of have their real persona. That's kind of locked up. That's just for them and their circle. And they're much more comfortable being, for him, it's like he's always the villain because he's huge and awesome. But, it's much more easy for him to play and be different people. I can't do that. I'm a voice talent. I'm not a voice actor. So for me, when you hear me, most likely, like even when I do video games, I'm always the computer AI that's going to kill you. Like that's like all I voice. And I mean, it's sad, but it's so true.
It's kind of the same thing for me. I get hired to sound like me.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
rarely do I get characters.
Yeah.
Except I did a thing for Jeffrey just this last week where my 3 words were, "You've got power."
Oh,
that was
well,
easy.
oh no, and you were Peter Parker's dad.
Oh, that's true.
That's right. The Death of Spider-Man motion comic that we did just passed 5 million views.
How
Thank
about
you
that?
very much.
Yes.
Yeah, he was Uncle Ben. He was Uncle Ben. I did. He was. I swear, everyone knows his like your 3 words. You did. Oh, 3, 4. You did good, kid. And everyone's like, "Ooh!" Yeah, so that's true. He did. Oh, so great.
Oh, thank
So
you.
great. Yeah.
You're too sweet.
I tried.
Well, thank you very much, everybody.
Oh,
Widdi Turner, September J. Carter, Dane Reid, and Tony Messano, guys.
Yeah.
And I'm Dane Reid, and
Oh,
he's
yes.
Tony.
The
Don't-
website.
The website's got it all wrong. Okay.
Well, that wasn't me in your picture.
No,
We
no.
had
No,
that swap.
it was
close.
flipped.
And Jeffrey Umber.
Website.
Oh.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Enjoyed it.